It's still buffering. Okay, it now says that we are live. So, hello everyone. Thank you for joining. Apologies for the mishap. I used the wrong link and I couldn't edit the time, so we had to do another live link. Thank you, Neil and Jane, for joining us. With me today, sorry, by the way, if you don't know, I'm Dayle from Amakari Services. With me today, I've got Kelly Chawner and Kaz Macklin from the Kent Invicta Chamber of Commerce. They are two, I don't know, awesome business people that, you know, represent a very awesome organization, and I figured having them online to chat with me, ask them a few questions, and to get to know their personalities a bit more, yeah, there'd be some value in that, hence this live stream. So thank you both for joining me.
Thank you very much for inviting us, Dayle. Kelly and I are always happy to play sidekick to our members.
You guys are definitely not sidekicks.
Have you got sunshine where you are?
It's just come through, so the whole
in your part of Kent.
So the whole this morning it's been
I think the world feels a safer place when there's sunshine.
It does feel better. It does feel better. Yeah, so you both represent the Kent Invicta Chamber of Commerce, and one of the things I actually wanted to ask you, if it's not too personal, how long have you worked for the Chamber of Commerce, and what allured you to working with the Commerce, or actually working for them, Chamber, sorry?
Shall I? I'll stay here. So I have been working. Yeah, I've been working here for 18 months at the Chamber. Yeah, I think it might even be a bit longer than that now. But I actually, what attracted me? So I hadn't had worked actually for an employee because I had my own businesses before. So yeah, I hadn't actually worked for an employee for a lot of years. I knew the Chamber. I knew about the Chamber. I'd heard about the Chamber. Years and years ago, I was an estate agent and a negotiator, and I'd heard about the Chamber when I was working for you know, in that role. So I kind of knew what they did but didn't quite know what they did, you know. But yeah, it's a wonderful organization, and I love what it provides for business.
That's awesome. And do you mind if I ask a follow-up question on that? Because like you said something, you used to do a lot of negotiating. Is there an art to the form of negotiation? Is it steps? Is it teachable? Is it learnable?
Do you know, I think with all things, it's listening, you know, listening to what the other person has to say. I think, you know, we speak so much all of the time, but actually it's such a big skill, isn't it, just to actually listen to what that person has to say. Yeah, and then of course, yeah, so, you know, it's money, isn't it? It's money, just trying to negotiate money, which Kaz and I are very good at.
That's awesome. And just so you know, so we've got Britt Crawford from the US. Thanks, Britt, for coming. Like, I appreciate it. He has the title on LinkedIn of the funniest accountant on LinkedIn. And yeah, I'm going to actually bow to his comedic stylings. He's a very funny dude. I can't claim that title. I have a question that a lot of other people might want to ask. I already know the answer, but I'm going to ask it on behalf of others. And I think I'm going to field it more towards Kaz, if that's okay. What is the Chamber? What is it? It's a really cool title, but what is it in its, you know, its history? Why is it formed? Yeah, I'd love to know more about that, actually.
Really good question, and not a lot of people know the answer. So thank you for crafting it. Chambers are membership organisations. They don't receive public money, but they're associations of businesses, trades and industries who serve as representatives of the local business community. And actually, they're steeped with history. So today, not only do you have a vintage model in me, you have a historic organisation, which gives me a really great segue. Do you know, Dayle, just how old the Chamber is as a concept?
I would love to say I know because I knew before you told me, but we did do a little bit of prep before this, so I do know. So I only know because you told me. So no, I don't know.
Oh, darn, you're stealing my thunder. I thought I was going to rock on here with new information. Wow.
Well, it's new to everyone else, Kaz, so please share it. Yeah.
199 in France.
Sorry, Kaz, I didn't quite catch that. You've broken up a little bit. Sorry.
Chambers opened in Spain, the Netherlands, and Bruges.
She's got a bad line, isn't
right, 1599, we had the first French chamber. 65 years later. Oh, man, is it?
Kaz? You're still with us, right? I'm going to remove Kaz from the stream for a second while she adjusts her technical difficulty. So sorry, Kaz, I'll just turn you off. And then when I can, just so you guys know, I can see her and I can see what's happening on her camera. So when she's kind of back, I'll add her back to the stream. I'm really sorry about that because she's giving us some very awesome information. So basically, Dwayne Brathwaite, he guessed 70 years. And no, it's been hundreds of years for the Chamber of Commerce and what they do. And I'm gonna preach some of the benefits, right? So obviously I belong to the Kent Invicta Chamber of Commerce, but Kelly, am I right in saying that these different chambers exist throughout the UK, right? So whether you are, is it England only, or is it everywhere in the UK?
It's everywhere in the UK. There are different representations of chambers, but this is the one that actually, the real Chamber of Commerce, if you like. There's lots of other subsidiaries of the chamber. But when Kaz comes back on, you'll have to talk to Kaz, because Kaz has, every time she goes on holiday, she finds the local chamber. This is abroad as well, and she has photos next to all of them. So a wealth of knowledge. Has she come back?
I'm just going to add her now because she seems to be moving in normal speed. So I'm going to pop Kaz back.
Yeah, let's put her back because it's good information.
Welcome back, Kaz.
She's
Kaz,
back.
Can you hear us? Are you good?
Okay, have we got sound? Good, excellent. Okay, thanks, Kelly, for the segue there, and thanks, Dayle, for your patience. The oldest English-speaking chamber was, in fact, the one in New Jersey, in America. And I've actually got a picture of me standing by the monument in New Jersey. Every time I go on holiday, I go and find out where the chamber is in that country. And I have a picture of me taken. So I've got me in Australia, I've got me in Ghana, I've got me in Gibraltar, I've got me outside all sorts of chamber icons. In terms of the Kent Invicta Chamber, which brings us right up to the 21st century, we sit at the heart of the business community in a little known place called Ashford. So that's where our head office is. And we offer a range of services, which Kelly will fill some background in on later. So that's the history. Long-standing, lots and lots and lots have gone on to bring us to where we are now.
Cool. And I know I asked this question before, but I'm actually directed to you, Kaz, if that's okay with you. So how long have you worked for the chamber, and what drew you to working for the chamber as an employee?
Right. Okay. Well, I started working for the chamber about 8 years ago, and it was a different organisation to what it is now. We've come forward in terms of technology. We've grown. What attracted me to the chamber? They promised me a tiara. It hasn't been forthcoming. Obviously, I've not been good enough yet, but I'm waiting for a tiara. I have the cape and I have the Lurex knickers and I have the boots. Just waiting for the tiara, and then I shall be the Wonder Woman of the chamber.
That's fantastic. That's a great answer. For those considering joining the chamber, what would you say the benefits are to different types of business? So obviously you have a wealth of businesses. There's micro entities, there's small businesses, medium-sized businesses. How does the chamber provide benefits to so many different types of businesses?
It's a really versatile, business model. The chamber is there basically. We relationship build mainly. We connect lots of businesses to other businesses. We work really hard at supporting business, connecting other businesses, and relationship building. As far as that, we also then give business advice. I mean, Kaz and I, that's not really our job role, but what we do have business advisors along with the Kent Medway Growth Hub, and that really is a consultation process where business consultants will speak to the business, and as I said, it's more about listening, because nobody knows their business more than the actual business owner. So actually, just having taken the time and speaking to that business owner in a safe space, for them, and picking out really what is important to that that business to succeed. So we do that. We also have a management system, which is like HR, legal, tax, health and safety, which is actually fantastic, and that draws, on that you can get HR advice, there's interview questions, it's absolutely everything, disciplinary procedures, with obviously what's going on with the furlough, that's all on there. So yeah, it's really is a really good support network for business. And because business owners, when you're a business owner, it can be quite isolating. You can't speak really to your employees about some of the challenges you may be facing within your business. So we provide events and peer-to-peer networking, which so like-minded people can come together and really talk about the challenges they're facing, and they're not on their own. And
one of the things I found quite interesting about the chamber that I didn't know when I initially joined is actually a lot of chamber employees have business experience elsewhere, right?
Absolutely.
And I've actually found that quite a value add, because being able to talk to other chamber employees and staff members, actually, they have experience in finance, in business development, like you and Kaz, and that's stuff that you don't necessarily charge for. I mean, you do in your membership, but like it's such a massive value add when you actually can go to someone in the chamber and go, actually, what do you think of this because of your previous experience? So yeah,
it's fantastic, isn't it? I mean, where can you go? Typically on an event, I mean, you'll have somebody there from IT, you'll have somebody there in finance, like you say, like yourselves, accountants. You'll have salespeople there. You'll have, it's just such a diversity of businesses that it really is valuable, especially for kind of SMEs, because sometimes they don't have the fundamental backing of like a corporate company does. So I think that's what the chamber can provide. It gives a support system like you would get in a larger corporate company.
And I know from my experience, like, because I started in September 2020, so in the middle of lockdown, and I'd actually been to a few chamber events prior to that when I was in full-time employment, so I noticed how it changed quite dramatically. How have you guys both found it in terms of having to work from home and not be able to do face-to-face as much or at all?
Kaz, do you want to talk about that? I don't know how a link is. I don't think it's very good.
Has Kaz frozen again?
That's frozen. Right. That was a good freeze.
To be fair, Kaz is frozen. Sorry, Kaz. I'll take her off the stream again, and if she gets back again, she gets back to me. Right. Then yeah, cool.
So how have I found working from home?
Yeah.
Well, we've always worked from home actually, although we obviously could go into the office like on an ad hoc basis. Productivity wise, I think I work better at home. There's less interruption. But do I want to meet people face to face? Yes, of course I do. I'm very much a people's person. I love people. And I love humans. So yes, I'm dying. And I don't quite know how I'm not going to like cuddle everyone, because I love cuddling people.
I love humans. Can I quote that? Because I don't think
I do like humans. You do get some like miserable people there that they say like they don't like humans. They like dogs and cats better.
I mean, there's usually less betrayal with dogs and cats, right? They're very straightforward creatures. Then you know exactly where you stand with a cat. You're not at the top of the pecking order with a cat.
No, that's right, absolutely. Have you ever seen a cat? A cat, they're vicious, aren't they? They're vicious things, cats.
I mean, I've seen way too much cat over the last 12 months, especially cat tail in like the corner of the video and all that kind of stuff.
That's
and
right.
A little bit of cat anus. Like, yeah, it is what it is. Sorry.
Like, Kaz's cat does that to me permanently. I'm just like, sort your cat out, Kaz, please.
Kaz has come back, so maybe she can defend her cat directly. There we go. No words. One of the other things I've also found beneficial from the chamber. Sorry.
Dan Kelly, we're lucky to have.
Oh,
Kaz, I'm really sorry. I think your internet connection is just not doing so well today.
No. Can't get her.
I can't fully understand you. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what's happening. And again, you're frozen on a very. Actually, you freeze very well, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Like you don't look, because when I freeze, it's like. But you freeze.
There's some really funny frozen moments actually. I've seen, like, because we've obviously been doing these Zoom. You know, everything's been Zoom. There's been some. I mean, the funniest faces, aren't they? When you freeze, and then some people. Yeah, they are embarrassing. Very embarrassing.
In terms of the stats that the chamber provide, like I know you don't have them to hand, don't worry, don't panic, but I do know that you guys have quite a lot of market insight. So for example, I managed to join a roundtable with our local MP a few months back, which I found very helpful, because actually it was like someone from the government saying, well, this is what we're planning. Granted, those plans did change, but at least at the time the information he gave was very, very helpful and useful to me. Based on those kind of contacts and connections that the chamber has, like, do you guys have any opinions on in terms of like the future workplace and how that's going to look?
Yeah, well, actually, funny enough, we do have a event coming up actually on July the 20th, which is going to be 9 to 11 o'clock, and it is the future of the workplace Ask the Panel. And actually, it's going to be a really good event. So we've got all of our patrons, so the patrons of the chamber, they are in organisations that really support the chamber, and of course we support them, so they're going to be kind of the expert panel. So yeah, it'd be great if anyone's listening, please do come along to that. July the 20th, and you can look on the chamber website for that, but yeah, please do come.
Oh, just in case you're wondering, we have like 4 viewers. I can see who's viewing. That's cool. And I think Molly has added a link to the registration. There you go, look at that. Molly Hall. Banging. Thanks, Molly. That's awesome.
Very, very good. I know Molly is like, so Molly is runs our events, and yeah, absolutely fantastic. Like, I'm even here and she's on it. Can do it.
Oh, right. It's
fantastic.
Awesome. What would you say to viewers right now? Because again, this gets recorded as well, by the way. People who are not in Kent, like, because obviously it goes bigger than just our locality. Do you have any recommendations in terms of chambers, networking, general business advice for outside of Kent?
Well, I just think, I think Zoom, this location seems to have become less important, doesn't it? This has kind of opened up a global network. I mean, obviously the Chamber of Commerce is a global network. We're not just local. It's not just local. It is local, national, and global. We're heavily involved in kind of customs, export, all of this, because of course with Brexit, what happened in Brexit, of course that had massive implications, unfortunately, for the trade. So yeah, we work very, very heavily at also lobbying. Not many know that about the chamber, so we will lobby into government, and put forward the voice of business. We also have something actually called the quarterly economic survey. And that is when we ask and invite businesses to just take a series of questions, and they get fed back centrally. And I think people just, perhaps need to understand how important that is. If we don't speak up about business, it doesn't get changed or challenged.
That's fair enough. Now, I can see that Kaz is back. She's got a headset on, so and a different location. So I'm going to try and add her again, because we want to hear from Kaz. Welcome back, Kaz.
That's better.
All right. Kaz, can you hear us?
She's on mute. You're on mute, Kaz.
Hello, hello, hello. No? The joys of live broadcasting.
I know. Can't always get it perfect. But I mean, we've had some brilliant bloopers, haven't we? Like, over this period of Zoom. I mean, I don't know. Is anyone are you getting bored of Zoom yet, Dayle? Are you? How are your thoughts? Do you like? Are you
actually, so for me, like, a lot of people ask me, are we going to have an office in the future? Because I know there's, in my opinion, there's going to be an overcorrect in terms of reducing office space, and people are thinking, staff can work from home more often. But I think personally, there has to be an office, especially for certain types of businesses. You kind of have to be together and have that kind of dynamic collaboration. So in the future, despite being a lockdown startup business, Amakari will have an office premises that staff and team can go together, because it's very hard to collaborate over video. Like you can do it initially for small things, but actually having that energy and time to actually come together, I don't think you can really beat face-to-face interaction. So
there's something important, isn't there, about our human senses, touch, smell, look, it's all the
and
same.
Succulents, Kelly, and succulents. He needs succulents in an office. No office is complete without succulents. They give you energy.
They do. Especially with the odd house plant in there.
Maybe that's what I should have had with my sound, more succulents in my house. Then I couldn't have had the gremlins that are defeating me here. But yeah, most definitely succulents are the way forward.
Oh, look at that. We've got Ashley Leeds saying hello. Thanks, Ash. Good to see you. If you don't know, he's like a business coach. I had a chat with him the other day. He's also a wicked cool guitar player. So yeah, very pragmatic dude to know. I like his smiley face. He's got a lot of energy as well. Good guy to know.
Yeah, we like people energy.
Yeah. Sorry, the reason why the camera is shifting. It's just me pressing buttons and playing like a child. That is literally what's happening. Like, sorry, people. It's just me playing. And Kaz, it's actually good to actually hear you. So, the first, just to recap, because you kind of broke up. The first English-speaking Chamber of Commerce was like New Jersey, like some 400 years ago. Is that what you said?
Well, not quite. It was certainly a long time ago over there in New York. And then they grew. They came to the UK in 1783, and the first chamber was in Glasgow. They then opened up in Hull, Leeds and Belfast, which there were a lot of ports there. So I was wondering maybe if it was something to do with warships, boats. I don't know, but in 1912, we formulated. I'm not in the center of the camera. I like to be center screen, Dale.
It's me messing with the camera. So like when we do this setting, you're not center. When we do this setting, you are center. And I'm not gonna lie, I like pressing buttons and having control. So it's me just doing it.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're always in the center, so you're perfectly posed. Which is extraordinarily unfair because a lady has to be on her best side. Anyway, talking chamber, 1912, the US chamber started. Came to the Glasgow region in Scotland, 1783, and it's gone from strength to strength. So it furthers the interest of local business, and that's what we're here to do. We're here to support Kent business. We're here to ensure that everybody has an opportunity and that potential is fulfilled. Where do you think your potential is, Dale? What unfulfilled potential have you had?
From joining the chamber?
Yeah, no. In terms of your business, there's still lots to do. You've been very, very bold and done a 4-day working week, which we can allude to, so that you can ensure that you have family time and you get that balance right. But where next? Obviously, you want to open an office with a succulent. That's the game plan eventually. But further on from that, your 5-year plan. Share with us what your 5-year plan of Amakari is.
Yeah, happy to do that. And thank you for asking me that. Very few people ask me those questions. Honestly, the 5-year plan is to take Amakari national. I really want to challenge the way that we work and the way that employees are treated and the way that employers interact with employees. And I want to balance and encourage those people who have an entrepreneurial spirit, who want to start their own business, that Amakari is a place that they can do that. But then there are people out there who don't want to start their own business, and that's fine. But as Amakari, as a provider, like I realized that owning a business and having employees is actually a privilege. I know it's tough sometimes, it's a privilege, and I have responsibility, or I'm accountable if in the future I do have people who work with me, to provide a stable income. And as you guys might know, what happened to me over lockdowns, I got made redundant like so many other people. I didn't think it was particularly fair, but I'm not going to diss that company because they're a good company. It wasn't necessarily their fault, but I think if we can't plan for things like COVID, but if we plan a little bit better, there can be more stability and security in jobs. And I know that if I am privileged enough to have staff in the future, that's something that I'm going to provide for them. So that's kind of the plan. Does that make sense? It's kind of a long way of answering that question.
Yeah, it's really good, but you've hit on something absolutely relevant. So many businesses didn't have a war chest. They literally went from one mortgage payment to the next with absolutely no continuity. I mean, COVID was unexpected, all the cliche words that go around COVID, but most organizations didn't have any emergency planning, any contingency. And I think one of the things that we can learn in moving moving forward is to not factor in 17 months of quarantine isolation, because that's unrealistic, but certainly within business plans to factor in crisis, sustainability, to factor in what happens. What happens if you have a water leak and all your data is lost? What happens if your premises burn down? There was no emergency planning. In terms of your business being relatively new, obviously you're putting those due diligence practices in place, which is where the chamber package of benefits is so useful, isn't it, Kelly?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and so many people don't know that they get that with the chamber, do they? They think that we're just like a networking organisation. Actually, the management program that is for businesses is just wonderful. Like you haven't got to look anywhere else. Any document you want. Any terms and conditions, perhaps someone hasn't paid you, all those documents are there in templates, and it is a really fantastic system. And the membership is dead cheap. It's not expensive, is it, Kaz? It's like something like, if you're a one-man band, it's £25 a month. I mean, I'm not being funny, but for what you get, the support system you get, there's that. It's very good for that.
I certainly applaud Kelly's thinking there. The value statement is there. But like most things, you have to make use of it. Oh, hi, we've got Martin Wiskin. Great to see you, Martin. Great to have you with us. You could probably be doing this a lot better than me, but hey-ho. But all value statements need to have some sort of security there with it. And the chamber is an established organisation. We're not some Mickey Mouse organisation that has come along and are playing with networking. We're well rehearsed, we're professional, we get it right, or at least we try and get it right every time. So the value statement is there, but you have to make use of it. Dayle, if you join a gym and never go, you're never going to see the benefits. It's no good to hold the gym card and buy the gear and say, hey, I'm in it, and wear the badge. I mean, you physically go to the gym. We've seen videography evidence of you at the gym, and the same with chamber. You have to use it, make use of it. It's there. Engage with Kelly and I. We're very keen to help. And what we don't know, I mean, we're not gurus to everything. What we don't know in terms of business advice, we're not insured to give business advice, and we don't pretend to, but we've got a really competent, stellar team behind us who can. Kelly, would you like to talk about the business benefits and the growth hub?
Yeah, well, we actually have done that. We've spoken about that. It was when you were on and off. But
can I touch on something that you mentioned there? First of all, I know you don't give business advice in terms of qualifications or whatever, but I would argue that the experience that you, Kelly, have and Neil and the other guys, Molly, having conversations with you guys on LinkedIn and via email, you guys do give some solid kind of sounding boards. So whilst you don't give prescriptive business advice like an independent financial advisor, all that kind of stuff, I think your experience elsewhere before the chamber and in the chamber really helps, because you guys network. Also, you did mention networking, and I do have a question I want to follow up on that.
Sure, Dayle, you go for it.
When because networking is quite I think a misunderstood thing, right? And I misunderstood it when I first started doing it. I now understand how kind of have a different mindset. In your experience, what should people, maybe a tricky question, what should people expect from networking, especially with the chamber as well? Networking etiquette, and what should you expect from networking? There we go.
Okay, so I talking about collaboration. This is it, isn't it? Collaboration and business growth. I think any form of networking, especially with a chamber, raises a company's profile. As far as business growth, I mean, I'll talk to you about the way that I do it, because Kaz and I, we have to also do business development as well. So we are doing the same as what you're doing when we're there. So, what we want, the way that I do it is, I like to look at all of the people that are coming before the event. I would then go onto LinkedIn. I would then try and connect with those people before I went to the event. I would then find out who perhaps I would like to speak to during the event. And what it does is it gives you a warm lead straight in. So basically, we can rather when you do a blank email and you're sending that out, actually it's an open space, a safe environment, as open space for you to say, look, hey, nice to see you on here. That person can see your face straight away, so you're great, you've got connection. And of course you can then do your kind of, look, can we have a one-to-one meeting at some time and talk business? And of course that is what it is. It's there to open doors. I always say the chamber is not, we don't do it for you. It is a platform. It is a platform for you to utilize. And like Kaz said, for you to get the value out of it. If you're not using it correctly, you're not going to see any value. It's how much you put in, you'll get out.
I think
Dayle, what were your expectations when you first joined a networking event with the chamber? What were your expectations? Did the chamber fulfill them? Are you happy? Have you learnt since joining the chamber a better way of networking?
So that's a lot of questions. Let me rehearse that real quick. So my expectations were incorrect. I thought I could go to a networking meeting and sell like crazy. That's what I thought would happen, because that's my my background, B2B sales. So I thought I could go in, qualify, validate leads, have one-to-ones and sell. But that's not what networking is. It is a slower process whereby you build up a reputation. And although it's a slower process to build your business, when you do make those connections and people do eventually start purchasing from you, in my experience, the connectivity lasts longer. Does that make sense?
Trust, isn't it?
It's a longer term sale. It's a tougher sale, if that makes sense, if you're going to call it a sales process, but the fruit of that sale should be longer lasting. And I think that's one of the mistakes I made. It's like, you're not going to get a quicker sale. It's going to take a little bit longer, but when you do finally get a connection with somebody, that's what beneficial. And what touching on what Kelly said as well, like, see, you said it so quickly because you're so used to doing it, but I don't think a lot of people realize, but what you said is a very, very good sales process. A lot of people who are not business owners worry about cold calling and all that kind of stuff, but especially in B2B sales, cold calling doesn't necessarily work. No. You have to, like you said, go on LinkedIn, find out someone's pain points, have a connection, talk to them first, actually understand what they're doing, and then consider that you have a solution to their problem, not just spam everybody. Spam everybody just vexes everyone. So yeah, and also I have to say, because I'm hosting, by the way, I have to give a shout out to Carol Evanson. Sorry, Carol, I should have put your post up sooner. And Dwayne Brathwaite, he's based in Croydon, and this dude is, again, he's an excellent salesperson. I mean, as a compliment, he's very good at talking to you, listening to what you need, and providing a solution. And if it doesn't work for you, that's cool. He's still your friend. He's a great guy.
And doesn't sales has such a, I don't know, some kind of reputation a little bit, doesn't it? It's a little bit tarnished, the word sales. Yeah, every business, it's the one thing that every business needs, sales, So I always, business growth, business development, these are vital cogs in any business, aren't they? Because without money, there is no business. So yeah, it's about growing, isn't it? Growing and trust, like you just said, doing business, forming relationships, creates a deeper trust. And people like doing business with people they trust because they're spending money.
And I'm curious, I don't know if you guys can tell me this, it might be like a secret source question. Obviously, with the whole digitization of things becoming more prominent, will the chambers be like connecting more, if that makes sense? Because at the moment, like, I'm a member of the Kent Chamber of Commerce, that's where I live, but will there be more kind of national stuff going on in the future? Are you aware of this? Is that a thing that's going to happen, or is it going to still stay localized?
I'll field that one, Kelly, if that's all right. We're affiliated to the British Chamber, so we work very closely in partnership with the British Chambers. And if you go onto our website and look at the events, very, very often they have global events, they have international events, and they have the national events. And we strapline ourselves as local, national, global. So we don't like to pigeonhole the chamber's potential either in any one direction. Looking at the second aspect of your question, technology, IT, AI, these are all really useful tools. And as in most times of adversity, like war, technology makes huge leaps of faith and advances. We've always had the ability to do Zoom via Skype, via WhatsApp. It's now come to the forefront. I'll tackle the Zoom fatigue later, but I think that the idea of technology and this is a quite existentialistic thought, is to liberate time. It's not to keep us as glued to technology as it currently is. And I had a moment, guys. I had a moment on Thursday, and I relayed this to my line manager. I said, line manager, I've been on Zoom for 5.5 hours today and I'm fatigued. And this is how I relayed it to him. And at that point, I realized that I also had become a tool with IT, and it wasn't liberating. At first, you know, it saved me sitting on the A2, buying overpriced coffee in expensive hotels. I love our hotel industry, by the way. You do great coffee. But, you know, when said line manager gets billed from said employee for expensive coffee, he does occasionally create. But notwithstanding that, the cognitive cost of this digitalized world that we're now existing in is not liberating us of time. What's your view there, Dayle?
It's interesting you say that, because I don't know if I've told you some of my story of setting up Amakari, but part of it was inspired by my grandmother, who is 91 this year. 91. Oh. Right. I know. So here's the thing. So in January, my daughter was born, and obviously that's just before the COVID stuff hit. And obviously we went to visit my granny when we could, when restrictions were eased back in March or April. And she said something quite profound to me. She said, Dayle, when I came to this country, washing machines weren't, not many people had washing machines. They were quite a new convenience. And the way that the washing machines were sold to people, everyone, was that they were a machine that will stop you from having to wash by hand, and you will then save time so you can spend more time doing what you want, spending time with family, having more downtime because the machine is doing it for you. And she went, Dayle, you all now have washing machines, but you all seem busier. Not only do you have washing machines, but you've also got the internet, and you all are busier. Why is this? And honestly, it made me think, and that's where the 4-day working week for Amakari came. It's like, you know what? Yeah, we should let the tech do the heavy lifting, and we should be able to have more time. So I agree entirely with what you said. Like, if we implement technology effectively and actually let it do what it's supposed to do, then that time should give us more free time, not more, you know, cramming in more work hours and getting more fatigued. So yeah, from a granny, basically.
So do you think that's a self-discipline thing, or do you think the advances in technology haven't yet caught up with the operative sector? We've got to learn to operate the technology that we have in a meaningful way that means that we're not slaves to IT, AI, that sort of thing. So where do you think the balance comes? How can we effectively use it so we're not slaves to IT?
It's both. So right, okay. if you can't use a tool effectively, it's going to take you longer. So that's a problem. But that's not the main issue. This is my opinion, by the way. So I need to test this more with my business. It's a mindset coming from business owners and employers. So if you have a member of your team,
industry shift,
yeah. And I'll use a very simple one in my industry. So bookkeeping and bank reconciliation. Right, it's a very basic task that happens in the financial world. It's actually more important than most people think. But anyway, if you have a bookkeeper that can reconcile 1,000 transactions in an hour accurately and proficiently, I'm using a massive number, exaggerating by the way, and they can do that many, and it takes another bookkeeper, 4 days to do that much. Why should the one that can do 1,000 have to work another 4 days? Should they not be able to be paid for doing that service and that value, for doing it so well and effectively, and then have the additional time off? And I think what's happened is over generations, we've kind of managed to get more and more time and more efficient, but all that's happened is we've been pushed to do more and more. And there's nothing wrong with that, because that does breed innovation, but I think we've gone too far in pushing people to do more. And I think I want us to take a step back. If you can do your job or your task within set time limits and KPIs, and you can do it faster and better than someone else, have the time back. And here's the thing, don't pay people less for doing their jobs faster and better.
No, actually, my dad always told me never be the best, because never be the best, never be the worst. If you're the worst, somebody thinks you're obviously rubbish. If you're doing well, everyone wants to know what you're doing well. So he said always just try and sit around in the mediocre. But I don't think anyone in sales is going to be sitting around the mediocre mark. Not if you're good at it anyway. But no, I completely agree, absolutely. And I think it's culture, isn't it? It's a culture-based shift.
Yeah. Like, so yeah, just like if you're someone, and it's going to be applied to many different roles. Again, I'm still testing it, but it's essentially, you should be able to have more time with your family and still earn the same salary if you can do that much work in that little time. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You want to see me when I'm smoking, I'm hot.
Yeah, that's my opinion, and I'm testing it with my business, and I could be wrong, but I'm happy to be proved right.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Absolutely agree.
So what next, Dayle, for you? What's the rest of your afternoon looking like after we've finished? Are there any blue sky moments? We know that you do a 4-day week, which was designed and deliberate to fit in with your family activities. It's a bold, brave move. I take my hat off to him, don't you, Kelly?
Absolutely. I think it's admirable.
Yes, family-friendly policies. I mean, this leads on to a whole new other subject in terms of talent recruitment in Kent. We're hearing from many of our members, and we do actually listen as well as talk, that, you know, there is a skills shortage, that they're unable to recruit. And we're saying, why is everybody being seduced by London? Is it, you know, the Canary Wharf, the Covent Garden, the cafe lifestyle after work, or is it the salaries? And actually, Gen Z, it's an amalgamation of things. It's about having family-friendly working policies, exactly as you are advocating within your business. It's about having good green credentials. It's a lot of factors that Gen Z look at, and it's not necessarily wholly related to salary. Salary helps because it's always nice, isn't it? We all like earning money. It's sexy. Everybody likes it. We can do stuff with it.
Well, you need it. You need it.
Yeah, it's enabling, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, money is great. It allows us to be the people we want to be. And just before we came on live, we were having a conversation about who would we want to be if money was no object. Kelly, who would you want to be, live or dead? Who would be your icon? Who would you be?
So I've got two people that are like my icons. Audrey Hepburn is one of my all-time favourites because I think she's so classic, and I don't know, there's just something so womanly and beautiful about her, I think. But of course, I mean, Wonder Woman. That's it.
Absolutely, an amalgamation of the two. And Dayle, if money was no object, alive or dead, who would you want to be?
My initial thought was I love being me, so I don't want to be anyone else, which sounds really douchey.
Really
so
good
actually,
answer. Stellar answer.
But it's going to sound really corny and cheesy. I have a lot of time and respect for my dad. His work ethic and investment in me. He's one of my idols. So him. And if we're going to go for fictional, I'm a huge fan of the Silver Surfer as a comic book character. I like his style, not because he's silver, but like he deals with some existential stuff. And I said it before in other live streams, he is the personification of meekness, which I like.
Indeed, indeed. Good to have you with us, Dwayne. Right on there. As for me, who would I want to be and what would I want to do? Well, I've always admired Barbara Streisand. Just look at the men she has been allowed to kiss on celluloid. I mean, just look at it. If I could be able to kiss half the men that she's kissed in the lineup that she's got, I'd be going there a happy woman. But hey ho. What about you, Kelly, in terms of good stuff going on, blue sky moments? What have you got going on this afternoon?
Thanks to Andrew Ward, by the way. Power Cosmic, awesome.
Andrew, hi Andrew. The Power Cosmic.
It's a reference to the Silver Surfer. It's a reference to the Silver Surfer. It's a geek thing. Well, a comic book fan thing. Sorry for interrupting.
I get geek. I can do geek.
Yeah.
Duh.
All right. Sorry. It's just that, Kaz, you're so cool. I didn't assume you were geeky. That was all.
I know, she's cool, isn't she?
I know. Blue sky moment for Kelly.
You say all the right things. You really do. My cup runneth over. Well, okay, blue sky moments. At our networking, we've been hearing about people that have gotten on a train and gone to London for business. Now, ordinarily, that would have just been a throwaway comment, but I'm saying, really? You've gotten on a train? Was it crowded? How did you feel? And ordinary everyday activities are now becoming a talking point, whereas previously it just would have been an addendum to a conversation. It's now thinking, oh man, you've actually been to London. How did it feel? So yeah, small steps.
Absolutely.
Great segue there, Dayle. You were supposed to fill it with something. Blue sky moments. What have you got to look forward to?
Oh, sorry, no, because like we kind of went to that and then we switched, and then I'm not going to lie.
Keep up,
I dropped the ball. Yeah, I know. Shame on me. Do you know what distracted me is on your name. It's not a capital K at the beginning, so let me just change that.
It's not.
There we go. That's why I was distracted, right? That's honestly that's why
I'm in order. I'm in order. Okay.
So blue sky moment for me. Later today, I will be having a conversation with a potential client. They found me on LinkedIn. They like the things that I'm saying, and yeah, they're interested to see if I can help. I don't know if I can or not, but it's worth having a conversation. So that's a win for me. Yeah, actually talking to people and them listening to me is nice. And yeah, and then after that, I'm going to clock off at 4 o'clock and hang out with my daughter.
Lovely.
Oh, that's really cool. What about you, Kelly? What are you looking at this afternoon?
Well, later on, I am going to go to the beach and have fish and chips. I've decided it's my children's sports day today. So yeah, I thought actually when they get straight home from school, I'm going to take them and get some nice fish and chips and have a nice little walk along the beach, get some fresh air, because this is what I've been like talking about technology. Obviously, wellness has come. It is popular, isn't it now? Wellness, talking about wellness. How often do I move from the computer? Not a lot during the day. So yeah, I've got to get better at that. Much, much better at that.
And I think it takes pioneers like you, Dayle, to, with your 4-day working week, which I know we've alluded to in the past, but it really is quite groundbreaking, and it needs more forward-thinking employers to take this leap of faith, especially around wellness, mindset, shifts in working patterns. Wouldn't you agree, Kelly?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you are working, when you're burnt out, you're not going to be achieving a lot, are you? Yes, you might be sitting. It's about productivity, isn't it? If you're sitting in front of a computer, clocking in, if you like, but not actually achieving anything, then you're burnt out. Then actually, what's the value of you sitting there? But if you're regularly walking, you're regularly looking after yourself, you have going down to this 4-day week, then of course your productivity is going to be better. You're not going to be burnt out. So, your mind is healthier. You are healthier.
I agree. And since it's almost time for us to finish, I would like to ask you a very simple question. Do you guys have any final thoughts, words of wisdom you want to share with anyone who's watching or listening, who will be watching or listening later? Kaz, I'll direct to you first.
Thank you. I think with any new business, you've got to be tenacious. It's about keeping hold of the dream, being bold, and you know what? Just never giving up.
That's really good. Thank you. I agree. How about you, Kelly? Any kind of words of wisdom from your previous business over the days?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously looking at new business startups, I mean, I'm going to look at e-commerce, I think, going in down that way, because obviously that's quite a big subject at the moment. From all the meetings I've been, I think use it like it's a shop, like it's your shop front window. Look at it as bricks and mortar rather than it being digital. Look at it, when you have a website, don't just leave it. Keep cleaning it, keep maintaining it. How are you going to do live chat with the customers? Think about it as a bricks and mortar outfit. It's because you need to engage with your customers still as if they were walking into a shop.
Well said.
And the final comment from me is, try and have a very good interactive relationship with your accountant. That's what we're here for. It makes more sense to not have accountants sitting here. It means, up in the ether, not doing much. Talk to your accountant weekly, monthly, have a chat, make sure they know what's going on in the business. Make sure they know what's happening in your personal lives, because that is a very important relationship that can help your business either grow or be sustainable. So yeah, obviously I'm biased, I would say that, but it's true.
Dayle, we've really enjoyed being here with you today. Thank you so much for the opportunity to showcase not just ourselves, but Kent Invicta Chamber of Commerce. You've always been very, very supportive of the Chamber. You're extraordinarily relatable as an accountant. You're not evangelical. You don't use language that differentiates you from the rest of society. And do you know what? It's been a pleasure to engage with you today. We wish Amakari and you every continued success.
Thank you. And thank you both for joining me. I genuinely appreciate it. Thank you.
Take it easy, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Bye all.
Bye. Bye.